close. A lifeline for the land, a natural pose. But greed has taken hold of bitter stain. Real Cobre crying, calling out in pain.
Sell out. That's the big word on the corner, because that is what is being used to describe the disgraceful compromise that NEPA did today. NEPA sell out the people. NEPA gave away the rights of the people in the community.
Courtrooms echo with promises untold. Justice delayed, stories yet untold. But we won't be silent. Our voices will rise, demand accountability, open our eyes.
Welcome back to Raya Cobre Runnings. In this video, we're going to show you what took place in the St. Catherine RM Court today in the matter NEPA versus Tradewind Citrus. Tradewind Citrus has been charged for criminal violation of the river under the Wildlife Protection Act. A massive sellout. We're inviting you to like, subscribe and share this video with as many of your friends as possible. It is now, we went to court today expecting that the defense and the prosecution would have submitted the findings or the results of their mediatory process that they had recommended to the court. On a previous occasion, they had recommended to the court that they were referring the matter to mediation. The judge allowed them to do so and provided them with the instructions that upon arriving at a decision, then they should return to court November the 27th, 10 a.m. to make their findings available to court. However, when they came to court, my friends, the judge asked them for the settlement that they have signed off on. The judge was told that the document has gone to the DPP because by right it's a DPP's prerogative to have done the prosecution. However, the fact that NEPA has a legal department and qualified lawyers, they applied to the DPP and the DPP gave them what is called a fiat to prosecute the case. But any decision, any final decision or turn in the case, NEPA still needs to refer to the DPP, and the DPP still needs to supervise and provide instructions as to how the case proceeds. So they told the judge that the settlement is private and confidential, and the court should not be privy to see the document that Tradewind Citrus and NEPA worked out. So the judge was really upset, and the judge said, you need to make up your mind. You're saying you want me to put off the case until you are able to come with that document from the DPP. And at the same time, I asked you for a copy of the document, and you're telling me that it is private and confidential. So why am I supposed to be here waiting on that private and confidential matter before you? I need to conduct a case, so you need to make up your mind as to whether or not you are prosecuting or you're not prosecuting. And it was at then now that the attorney for NEPA said, I am withdrawing all charges, Your Honor. So the judge told the person representing the accused, you're free to go. Now, this agreement was worked out barring the community's participation in the decision-making process in relation to the mediation. So the agreement was carved out between NEPA and Tradewind Citrus with the approval and full backing of their attorneys. They arrived at their decision without any reference to the community. I had a couple of meetings with the CEO of Tradewind Citrus, and I knew that they were trying to go for mediation or possibly to drop the charges. But on what basis were they dropping the charges? They knew that they couldn't drop the charges without involving the community. So what they tried to do was to get me to to come along with the decision to drop the charges, which I did not, and I also insisted that the compensation should be carved out before they go into any form of mediation. We completed the compensation package, submitted it to the defendant, who took 7 to 8 weeks, about 8 weeks before he responded to us. And I had to be calling him and texting him, and he promised to call me back, and he did not call me back until the day before the court. So it's quite obvious that having gotten this compensation claim, it dragged out the thing to allow time for the mediation process to set in. And so they completed the mediation and they signed off on it, because the attorney for NEPA told us before court that the settlement was signed off and the CEO of NEPA has full knowledge and participation in the process. And so when the CEO told me the morning of the court, when I asked him if he knew anything about the settlement, he denied it. He told me that he was going to find out from the lawyers in his department as to what the settlement is like. When the man already knew what the settlement was like, the man participated in the process. He is the CEO of NEPA. He provided the instructions to NEPA's lawyers. He could not have done so without instructions from the board of NEPA. And also the board of NEPA could not have recommended mediation and to arrive at any terms without an agreement and instructions from the government. So imagine 100 and odd fisher folk and their families being unable to access the Royal Cobre for over a week due to the oil spillage in the river. The National Water Commission had to close down their operations for those days so that the water that they distributed to the population was not contaminated. So you can see the impact of this type of pollution in the river is far-reaching. How long will we have to wait on the government to insist that NEPA does a fair job of taking the interests of the people at heart? Are we waiting for a travel advisory to be issued about the quality of our water, just like our travel advisory was issued about the quality of service in our hospital system? It has caused our figures in tourism to fall. Can you imagine if we were to have a release from the State Department stating that Jamaica's water condition is not of the quality that you would expect to get if you were in your own country? That would be a tremendous disgrace. How long will the government take before it corrects this type of corruption in our society? Dr. Marcus Gov, who represents the community, stated that there was no compensation worked out between the defendant and the communities.
She says she was told internally at NEPA that there was a separate agreement with the fisher folk, which of course is totally untrue.
Mr. Goff now wants the office of the DPP to review the matter and for NEPA's actions to be properly scrutinized.
That is correct. No compensation package was agreed on between both parties. It was submitted to Tradewind Citrus, and Tradewind Citrus took 2 months to respond, and when they responded, they said that the amount that was being asked for is too much. They're not paying it. They will have to refer it to their board. They're gonna refer it to their insurance company for them to do an investigation. The fact that no fish was killed, based on the argument that the defendant is submitted, that he agrees that there was oil spill, but that no fish died. The fact is that the river was rendered uninhabitable. No fisher folk could go in there.
This was the Rio Cobre in December 2023 following an oil spill by Tradewinds Citrus Limited. After being charged for breaches of the Wildlife Protection Act, NEPA was given a fiat to prosecute the case. There were several court appearances. Then this bombshell on Wednesday. NEPA and Tradewinds reached an agreement through mediation.
The judge asked to see the mediation agreement. And NEPA informed the judge in open court that the agreement was confidential and the judge could not see it. At which point the judge got very upset and said, well, this is a criminal matter, one of immense public interest. How can it be that a private agreement is reached and no one, including the court, can see? The judge said to the NEPA lawyer, make up your mind, are you prosecuting or not?
Marcus Goff, the attorney for Friends of the Rio Cobre, told TVJ News what was said in court.
The prosecutor from NEPA said that she's withdrawing all charges, right? And so the charges were dropped, and that's the end of the criminal case. And so to withdraw that serious criminal charge without any reason being given, any knowledge of the terms of the agreement, how can the court or the public be assured that justice has been served? We feel it's a sellout and something that NEPA should not be allowed to do or to get away with.
Kestenard Gordon indicated both Tradewinds and NEPA objected to the group's participation in mediation, which was not ordered by the court. But having learnt about the matter, an $11 million compensation request was submitted for licensed fisherfolk in September. There was no response from Tradewinds until Tuesday, the day before court.
To tell me that he objects to the value of the compensation. And he never killed any fish, and therefore he's not supposed to be paying so much money.
For the July 2022 Rio Cobre fish kill, fishers got $16 million from government. Will they be compensated for the December 2023 incident involving Tradewinds? And did it form part of the private mediation agreement?
We asked the NEPA lawyer and we were told no, because she was told, she says, she was told internally at NEPA that there was a separate agreement with the fisherfolk, which of course is totally untrue.
Mr. Goff now wants the office of the DPP to review the matter and for NEPA's actions to be properly scrutinized. NEPA said the December 2023 oil spill in the Rio Cobre was due to a malfunctioning boiler from the old Jamaica beverage plant operated by Tradewinds Citrus. The state entity promised to provide a response to the developments. Andrea Chisholm, TVJ News.
What happens now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be getting together with the members of the communities very, very shortly to plan a series of strategies as to how we're going to go about achieving the compensation for the communities. NEPA can sell out as they like. That is the criminal part of it. They have sold it out. Now we are going for the civil part of it. The world has seen the oil spill running on the river. Everybody knows. As a matter of fact, the CEO of Tradewinds Citrus himself admitted liability of the oil going into the river. And NEPA, based on their investigation, concluded that Tradewinds Citrus was responsible for the oil spill. News media was on the compound of Tradewinds Citrus, filming the outpour of oil from their huge boiler into the trench and into the river. And this went on for about 6 days. So there's no way NEPA could claim that the case was weak. It is puzzling. What is the basis of withdrawing the case? That is a big question. What is the basis for saying that we are not carrying through with this criminal prosecution, although the evidence is there for the world to see? Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Rio Cobre Runnings.
From the mountains high, a river flows, a lifeline for the land, natural. calling out